Okay, this is just miscellaneous stuff I wanted to talk about. First of all, sorry, I wanted to give a shout out to Kendell Clark. Kendell Clark, you're awesome. Like, you give me so much support, brother. You are an amazing advocate too. I mean, I remember the second I created my blog, Southeast Beautiful, you were right there supporting me. You were commenting, and you've been like such a great support for me, like since day one. Since I created that blog, that's when I met you. And you know, I just want to tell you that I appreciate you and I respect you and I admire you. I think that you have like really good morals and standards, and you know, I appreciate your generosity and you know, your nature as an advocate. So it's, you know, it's a blessing to be able to advocate with you, and I'm glad that, you know, you're getting more recognized with everyone in the community. And yeah, you guys friend Kendell Clark. He is definitely one of us. He's a good guy. Yeah, and so I did want to mention, so you know, I wasn't a registered nurse, although that was my dream, was to be a registered nurse. But I graduated the LVN program, licensed vocational nursing program. I specialized in psych. So also psychiatric technician and LVN. So it was a very unique program. But so, you know, registered nurse is more of a science. I definitely have a lot of psych training. And, you know, that's why I'm just an analytical person to begin with. And I love psych. But I also love helping people. And, you know, I don't give up on people. Like, I'm the kind of person who will try to work things out. Like, you know, I don't get mad, like, really easily. I mean, it takes kind of a while to, like, you know, make me mad. Or, like, I don't stay mad for a long time. Like, I'm forgiving. But, you know, like, when I'm done, I'm done. That's the kind of person I am. But, you know, I like to try and work issues out. That sort of thing. I lost my thought. But, oh, you know, another thing I want to talk about is withdrawals. So, it's confused. Like, I am baffled sometimes when I hear people talk about, like, how they have to dose all the time, and if they don't, they have withdrawals. And I am wondering if, you know, because then they say, oh, well, if they don't, then they have these horrible symptoms and da da da. And I am wondering, so far the people who've said that, they are ex-heroin addicts. And I'm wondering, you know, I'm thinking that it's got to be maybe pause that you guys have, that you're experiencing that, because, or you know, unless Kratom just affects people in really diverse ways, because you know, I've been taking Kratom for over 3 years now, and it is not addicting, not for me one bit. Like, I have never ever craved Kratom. That rhymes and it goes together. I've never ever, I can't say I've never ever had a withdrawal from Kratom. Like, yesterday, some days I take way more. Like, some days, you know, it depends on what I'm doing or my pain level or whatever. Like, you know, sometimes I might take it 4 times a day or something. And like today, I've only taken it once, and it was a long time ago. It was like early this morning. And now it's like almost dark out, like it's getting towards evening time, and I feel fine. Like, I'm not having like a lot of pain today. I mean, you know, it's not like, it's nothing, yeah, I can totally tolerate it. I mean, I'm not gonna take it just to take it. That's not good. I don't agree with that. But see, that can be part of it too. I'm thinking, you know, I'm not the kind of person who like gets into a habit or something where it's like, oh, okay, I have to take it because I took it the same time yesterday. Like, I'm not like that at all. That probably works in my favor, but like physiologically speaking, I don't have any withdrawals at all. I feel normal, like myself. I mean, I don't have a runny nose. Like people say they get a runny nose and all this weird stuff. I don't have a runny nose. Nope. So, you know, I just want to share my experience because there's just so much talk everywhere. And I just think it further confuses, you know, the public, the people who, you know, don't take Kratom and they don't know what it's really like. And I just don't want it to discourage, you know, people from wanting to try it because, you know, it might save their life or it could really help them. But yeah, so I did want to share that. I've never ever had a preoccupation with it. You know, so it just blows my mind when I see some of the comments by people who, you know, who I admit they're abusing it, but, you know, they say just these outlandish things. It blows my freaking mind. And they're like, oh yeah, like I couldn't leave my apartment. I was so obsessed with it. You know, they have some psych issues going on. And I just wish that, you know, our society could start being real. And, like, you know, talk about what really is going on here. And that brings me to this. Something that I think is just so twisted and wrong for pain patients. And I mean, talk about getting the short end of the stick. I mean, you know, to have to deal with chronic pain during the times that we are living in is got to be the worst time. Well, maybe not the worst time, but maybe one of the worst times in history. And, you know, because this is what I think. Just something came to mind the other day. I thought, because pain patients, anyone who takes a Vicodin, you know, or if it is addicting, okay, if it has any addiction potential, you're labeled automatically. You're either or you're being judged, or people like look at you differently. Like, oh, yep, you're getting high. Or, it's not funny, but, I mean, you gotta find humor in these things. You'll go crazy if you don't. Or, oh, okay, she's addicted. Yeah, she's a drug addict. Do you know how that makes my blood boil? You know, because I've been dealing with pain and stuff for like forever, for years. And like for so long, I never took anything and I suffered. I mean, I worked my ass off. Excuse my language, but I did. I literally worked it off too. No, but I worked my butt off. I didn't have anything to take. I didn't try to get anything to take. It was hard. I commuted in pain. I commuted 2 hours a day because I was driving to Eldridge, which is like right by Glen Ellen. It's the little community where Sonoma Developmental Center is at. And oh gosh, that work was so hard. It was so hard. It was the hardest work I've ever done in my life. I mean, psych work is hard too, but that's more mental and scary. Like, but working at Sonoma Developmental Center was like physical, because you just had to take care of you. It was nursing work, like nursing bedridden patients who were like 200-300 pounds, and they were dead weight. And on top of it, they, you know, were resistive and had, you know, because they had developmental disabilities. So it was just really, really hard to take care of them. But anyways, my point, I mean, I love those patients. I'm going to do a story about that also, because those patients are some of the best people I've ever met in my life. they're the sweetest, loving souls ever, and the happiest people. But my point is that, you know, I worked for a long time without taking anything. And, you know, and nobody should condemn someone for finally, you know, not wanting to stay in pain, you know, because that's really harmful to physically to someone also. Like, that's abuse to, you know, let a person just stay in uncontrolled pain, you know, from a doctor's point of view. I think that's abuse and negligence. But so, I mean, nobody should condemn someone for deciding to relieve their pain. And, you know, our options are slim. I mean, but this is the thing. This is what I was thinking, is that, you know, we've been made to look like someone who we are not, simply because we take a medication that has addiction potential. And that's wrong. It's so wrong. I just wish all this madness would stop, because, you know, when I think about that, it makes me think of Kratom, because here we are again. It's kind of the same thing with, you know, opioids, and how you know, chronic pain patients have to fight to get their opioid medication. You know, anything that has the slightest addiction potential, and people go berserk. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just crazy to me. But it's sad. It's wrong too. You know, like, I mean, even if somebody didn't want to take it because it had addiction potential, there's not much else option there's left. You know, there's really, I mean, that's what works really well, because it attaches to your receptors, you know, and it helps the pain to go away. So, well, you know, don't condemn the poor person because it has addiction potential. It's just wrong. And I really, really hope that in time, this whole opioid hysteria with poor patients being cut off, I really, really hope that that reverses in time, because it's wrong. This country needs to focus on better mental health, and they need to stop lumping everyone in the same category. That's important. They need to stop lumping pain patients in with drug addicts, or people, or, okay, I'm sorry, I don't like that. People who have mental illness, or maybe some, you know, underlying issues that drove them to abuse something, you know, that they're taking, in which they don't have any actual, you know, condition. You know, if someone is just taking a substance and they don't have pain, you know, if they're taking pain medication and they're not in pain, and they're just taking it, you know, for other issues, well, you know, they're taking the wrong thing. That's wrong. You know, they have something that needs to be addressed, but they shouldn't be lumped in with a pain patient who actually has pain that needs to be relieved, and that is being relieved by a pain medication. So, anyways, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And, you know, I love you guys so much. I do. Even, you know, I know, some of you might think, oh gosh, she's a sucker. Or I don't know what everyone thinks. I mean, I know I got a good group of people around me online for the most part, and I appreciate all you guys. And I gotta be me. And, you know, I'm like the sweetest bitch you could ever meet. Bye.